everyone, it's autumn. Today I thought I would do a video where I pull out some of my favorite items that I like to use for fall and talk about them. I also did it a little bit different this time. Instead of just talking at the camera, as I go through the items, I apply them to my face while I talk about them, so I thought that might be fun. So if you want to see how I achieve this look and see some of my favorite fall items, just keep watching. So in the fall, I really enjoy eyeshadows that tend to lean warm and cool at the same time. They have a lot of dimension, and I just really like them to look sort of antiqued or rustic. I'm going to show you some different examples of eyeshadows and just kind of tell you why I like each one for fall. The first one is this Burberry one, which I recently hauled, and I also did a get ready with me video. So you can go ahead and look at that in that video. I will have it linked below. But here it is. It's gorgeous. It's got these warm tones here and cool tones. So I think that this is just kind of perfect for all skin tones, just because you can really mix these together to get the perfect sort of shade. I really enjoy Burberry shadows because they're kind of subdued, and I find that with the other Burberry shadows that I'm going to show you, there's something special about them. I feel like if you were to take a color and it be like, say, a warm sort of shade, and then it's an Instagram filter that looks more cool, or it's a more cool photo and then you use a warm Instagram filter, I feel like that's what it is. They're kind of warm and cool at the same time. There's a lot of dimension to them, and I feel like they're very wearable for lots of people. So some of my favorites for fall include this one, which is in the old formula, and this is in the shade Chestnut, and then again the old formula, and then this is Pale Barley. It's like a golden taupe, and it's very gorgeous on the eye. And this is the shade Almond, which is just gorgeous for a very sort of matte, subdued, and I believe this is also in the old formula. Rosewood, and I know that they brought Rosewood back over to the new formula. The one I have, though, in particular is still in the old formula. But this is gorgeous because it's like a rosy taupe, and generally I do not like anything rosy or purpley on the eye, but I feel like this is very, very pretty, and it would be flattering for a lot of people, and especially for fall, it just kind of gives gorgeous dimension to the eyes. Any of those shadows you can actually wear on their own. They're gorgeous just dusted from the lid up into the crease. The next item is something that is back in stock. It was a holiday item a couple of years ago, and it has since been brought back to the permanent range, and this is the Laura Mercier Artist Palette. And this, I really do not like purples on my eyes. I just don't feel like they look quite right. But there's something about these purples that look good on my skin tone. I feel like I can pull these off better. And then they also have some warmer shades in here, and they just make the most gorgeous purple smoky eye. So I feel like this is really something that I can get away with. It's actually one of the only purple eyeshadow palettes that I own, and I think this is gorgeous for fall, especially if you mix these four shadows and possibly even this one and this one in. These, I think, like this one through here, are more spring appropriate, and I think they're really pretty for spring. So this is a very versatile palette, but it's gorgeous in the fall, and that's usually when I tend to pull it out. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but the next three are just absolute, probably I would wear them year round. I feel like fall is my favorite sort of time of year for makeup. But this is the Nars Duo in Kalahari. You've got this sort of rosy purple, mauve brown shade, and then you have a bronze, and they just make a gorgeous, gorgeous eye. Also have this, which I've had for a couple of months now, and this is the Becca Ombre Rouge. Still loving it, still gorgeous. Again, you've got like the purple sort of rosy toned browns, and then you have this very warm sort of peanut butter sort of shade that just really comes in and helps to warm up the eye if you're someone who doesn't really feel comfortable wearing sort of cooler or more rosy purple tones. And then this one is also one that I've talked about a ton, and this is the Too Faced Natural Matte eyeshadow palette. And again, this is just the fall eyeshadow palette. If you were to go for all matte shadows, I just feel like this just screams fall. It's very sort of rustic looking. So what I'm going to wear today and put on are the Clinique shadows. And I have two options for you if you don't want a big one, but the one I'm going to wear is the Clinique Shadow in Black Honey. I just feel like this is a gorgeous fall eyeshadow. And here's a swatch in the back of the hand. It's a reddened, like very red, but it's a reddened sort of metallic bronzy brown shade. Very, very pretty. Screams fall. And then if you want it inside of a palette, I know that they've had like a Black Honey Affair and then I think something else that also contains it. This was the original palette and this is the Neutral Territory 2. And again, it's got some purples in there and some taupes, but it contains Black Honey as well. So if you're someone who really enjoys purples and taupes, this might be a good option for you too. But their eyeshadows are relatively inexpensive. This little palette is around the $30 range, and a single eyeshadow, I believe, it's under $20. It's like $14 or $17, I forget, but very inexpensive. So I'm just going to take this brush and start applying this onto the lid. So in the fall, I actually really enjoy a good sort of colored mascara, something to look, again, more rustic. I enjoy this, again, which is by Clinique, and it's also their Black Honey line. This is called Bodacious Black Honey. And I also have been enjoying the Benefit They're Real, and this is in Beyond Brown. I find that this isn't quite dark enough for me if I'm going to do a look like I have on today. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Black Honey shade and do my eyelashes. Alright, so now that I've taken 15 minutes to apply mascara, I'm going to jump into some blushes. So I really do enjoy a good sort of bronzy cheek in the fall. I find that it looks really flattering and it's neutral and you can play up the eye quite a bit. In which I'm not going to suggest any particular bronzer because that's just going to determine kind of like what bronzer you like using. But I do have some blush type products that could also double as like a bronzer or like a matte sort of, I guess, bronze or flush to the face if you have a lighter skin tone. A couple of options for you, two on the affordable range and then one is kind of high end. And this is a little sample size of the Burberry Earthy Blush. And this is just a really gorgeous, I don't know, it's like a, barely has any pink in it, but there it is. And it just kind of gives that gorgeous kind of, it just gives gorgeous healthy color to the skin. That's the best way to describe it. And I usually use a light hand. I'm not sure how well you can see it here. My hands are already covered in swatches. But the next one is by Boots No. 7, and they have changed their packaging, I believe, on these, but the colors are still the same. And this is in the shade Honey, and this is their natural blush. And this is very similar to the Burberry, only this leans a little bit more warm or peach. And I'll put it right here. And again, you can use it, in which I have used it as kind of a bronzer before when my skin's really pale. What it does, just put a gorgeous sort of terracotta, or it's not orange enough to be terracotta, but just a very gentle sort of healthy skin. It's kind of like a fading suntan is kind of the look that it gives. This last one is by Neutrogena. These are their newer blushes, and this is in the shade Bronzed, and it has the same effect as the other two. So if you're on a budget, again, this is a good option, but this leans even a little bit more orange. And let me swatch the Burberry next to them. So here you have the Burberry, which leans a little bit more mauve, and then the Boots No. 7, which goes a little bit more peach than the Burberry, and then even more peach is the Neutrogena. So they're very similar, have a similar effect. It's just going to determine your skin tone or kind of what your eye look is, whichever one you want to use. Alright, so I have some more colorful blushes I want to mention, and sticking with the whole sort of suntan or peachy orangey glow, I have a few to mention there. And I have Nars Luster, and this is just, again, a very gorgeous sort of I don't know, it's kind of like a peach with a bronze glow, and I'll put it right here. Very, very wearable and very pretty. One that's actually very similar to that, and this is Clinique Aglow. If you had one of these, you really wouldn't need the other. Here's Clinique Aglow. As you can see, it leans just slightly more pink than the Nars Luster, but when you go and you kind of blend them out, I find that the luster then after being blended leans more pink. It's the weirdest thing. So you can't really go buy a full-on swatch with these blushes, but they are very similar. I think if you had one, you really wouldn't need the other. And then if you want to do something quite a bit darker, I have Nars Sin. It's like a plum shade with some gold running through it, which I think everybody has swatched it and featured it in their fall videos at this point. But it is quite deep, but then again, when blended out, it just kind of gives that really gorgeous, just walked in from outside sort of flush, which everybody's flush from just walking in from outside is going to be different, but that's kind of what it does, and that gold sheen just really helps to catch the light. And then I have two pink options here. The first one is Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in Ethereal Glow. I know a lot of people probably pick this for a spring shade, but I find since it is such a light pink, and especially if you're going with an eye like this, you don't also want to do quite a heavy blush or anything that also goes in the realm. I think that it's kind of overwhelming. So then pairing it with a light, fresh blush just kind of brings a little bit of youth back to the look that you're doing, and I find that this is perfect for pairing with fall looks. And then the last one I think that I have here that's a powder blush that I want to share with you is Benefit Rockateur. And I'll go ahead and I'll apply that. Again, this one has a lot of dimension to it. In the pan, like you see, I mean, it's like it's peach and it's pink and it has a little bit of mauve in it all at the same time. And I think this is just a really versatile blush. And I actually just like to use the little thing that comes in it and work it over the cheeks. So hopefully you can see the effect it gives. I think this is a very flattering blush for just about anybody. Then I also like to take a clean brush and go around the edges just to soften it up. I forgot to mention a blush that I think is probably in everyone's fall must-haves, and this is the Tarte Exposed Blush. Again, I do think it is a very beautiful blush for fall because it kind of has that subdued pink look to it. This is kind of like pink, but it gives a flush, but it's also subdued at the same time to where it's not overwhelming, and it's not really going to compete with your fall eye looks. So if you have dry skin and you want to go towards something that's maybe a little bit more dewy in the fall, I have a couple suggestions for you there. The first one is the Clinique Chubby Stick, and I swear there's a lot of Clinique. There's like a Clinique item in every single category. I'm not sponsored by Clinique, I just happen to like a lot of their products. But anyway, the Clinique Chubby Stick, and this is in the shade Amped Up Apple, I believe. Yes, Amped Up Apple. And this, it's just, I don't know how to describe this color. It is just a really gorgeous natural blush shade. Again, leans kind of pinky reddy mauve. It's just a subdued pretty blush. I think this is perfect for fall. Out of all of the shades that they have in this, I think this is the best one for fall. Something that I find that's very similar to that is the Josie Maran, and I have a mini here, and this is the Argan Color Stick in the shade Spice. And you can use this on your lips and your cheeks, but I've only used it on my lips. I find that the color is very similar. This, as you can see though, leans just slightly, I would say slightly more warm than the Clinique does. The Clinique's just slightly cooler, but it's not, it's a neutral blush. But this is just slightly more of a warm shade. And then I have two Bobbi Brown, what are these called? Pot Rouge for lips and cheeks. I have two of those I think are great for fall. This first one is in the shade Powder Pink. Again, it's along the same color family as the Clinique and the Josie Maran. It's right there. They look similar. Again, you can also use this on your lips. I find that this works, this formula works better on the lips than the Josie Maran does though. Again, same color family. If you have one of those, you certainly don't need the other two. And then this one is in the shade Blushed Rose. It's a darker shade, and I think it's gorgeous on lips and cheeks. And I'm running out of space. I think with a bronze eye, and then if you kind of put this on your lips, or move it out, there we go, to the cheeks. I think with a bronzed eye, this would be very pretty. Alright, so I have another product that works for lips and cheeks, but I'm going to talk about this for cheeks for this video. Not cheeks, sorry, lips. And this is the Becca Beach Tint, and I dropped it, and it is in the shade Raspberry. This is just a very, very gorgeous lip color. It's a deep berry. It has a beautiful sort of matte finish on the lips without being drying, which is especially important right now just because of the changing weather. But it's just a very beautiful, deep sort of berry that looks natural on the lips. And then I have this by Bite Beauty, and this is in the shade Musk, and it's like a deeper nude, like mauve nude shade. There we go, and there it is. Again, very beautiful. I suggested this in my Sephora VIB sale must-haves video. Again, still love the lipstick, and I think it's beautiful, and they wear beautifully. They're very moisturizing in the lips. And then I have more Clinique items. So let me clean my hands first. Alright, so on with the Clinique items. I have two of their lipsticks. Again, one of them I mentioned in my Sephora VIB favorites, and it's in the shade Creamy Nude. It's the most natural nude color. The formula is just a dream in application. It's a moisturizing lipstick, and I think it would be flattering for a lot of people. It's not too paled out. It's just a really beautiful shade. And again, it's not going to compete with any of your fall eye looks that you have going on. The next one is the shade Go Fig, and this has a teeny little amount of shimmer in it, nothing crazy, but it just gives a lot of dimension to the lips, and it almost has like a bronzy sort of effect, but it's not noticeable shimmer on the lips. I don't really like a ton of shimmer. It's just a really beautiful shade. And then if you want something more sheer, I suggest the Almost Lipstick in Black Honey. Again, the whole Black Honey line to me just screams fall. But this is a very sheer sort of lip balm. And here it is. So it just kind of gives a subtle hint of color to the lips. It's right there. And then if you're looking for something a little bit more accessible or available, if like you're not near a Clinique counter, or say you just don't have the money to spend on Clinique, Burt's Bees has a lip balm range, and this is in the shade Red Dahlia, and I think this is a very good drugstore alternative to Black Honey. And oh, there we go. And there it is. It's very, very, very pretty. And also just something that you can just pop on or stick in your purse, and you don't really have to worry about it. Just to kind of show you this particular lipstick, which is the Go Fig, I'm going to apply this. I'm going to put a lip balm on first. It's not that it's not moisturizing. I just like to have my lipsticks kind of diluted a little bit. And I'm going to use the Korres Lip Butter, which again just makes for a really good subdued lip if you don't want something really overwhelming, if you're doing a lot of eye makeup. I have that on, and now I'm going to go over it. I'm just going to kind of actually blot the lip balm I just put on, which sounds kind of crazy, but I'm going to blot the lip balm I put on to take away the excess shine. And then I'm going to go in with this lipstick, which is Go Fig, and apply this to the lips. This is what it looks like on the lips. When it comes to nail color, I kind of fall into two different categories. I prefer sorts of reds and burgundy shades that are almost black, and then I prefer nude shades, and that's kind of my go-to fall nail polish. Currently what I have on today is a nude shade, and this is the Marc Jacobs nail polish in the shade Fluorescent Beige. I find that this just goes with everything. It's like a gray mauve shade with then I would say kind of a translucent sort of shimmer that kind of leans like a cool pink. I mean, that's the best way for me to describe it. But it's gorgeous, and I absolutely love it. I feel like it goes with everything. Whoops! And I just about broke the bottle. But I feel like it goes with everything, and it's just a really pretty color. And then the other one that I have to suggest to you is from the drugstore, and this is Sally Hansen, and this is Pat on the Black. This is a deep purple that's almost black. I'm on the hunt for a deep red that's almost black, and Nails Inc. has one that I have my eye on. But this is kind of what I like to use in place of that for now. So talking about fragrance, I have a ton of fragrance that I love, and I have the Giorgio Armani C, which is kind of my everyday fragrance. I absolutely love the way it smells, but I have some that I always pull out every fall, or since I've had them, they just remind me of fall. And I may have mentioned these last year in my fall favorites, but I just want to go ahead and mention them again. The first one is a fragrance that I've purchased over and over again since pretty much my freshman year of college. And this is Burberry, and I never know which one this is. I think it's just the regular original Burberry scent. It has like a deep sort of creamy amber to it, and I don't know, it just reminds me of college. I love the way it smells, and so this is kind of a go-to scent for me. Then I have this, which is way more crisp than that one, and this to me smells like cedar or fall leaves. It's just beautiful. This is the Versace Crystal Noir, and this to me is just fall in a bottle. It's a very crisp scent. It just reminds me of being around a campfire. So I think if you're looking for an absolute fall scent that smells like fall, this is the way to go. I also have this, and this is the Clean White Woods. And if you're looking for something that's not going to offend others or be non-competing, this is something that I wear when I go to volunteer at the school in my daughter's class, and I don't want a really strong scent to be around the kids. It's clean yet woodsy at the same time, so I think this is a really great fall perfume as well. And then this is the Molecule 01. Again, it's got that really woody scent to it, and since it's just the one scent, it kind of smells slightly different on everyone. Men and women alike can both wear it, and it's just a very beautiful fragrance. And it's also great for mixing, since it is just the one note. If you have a very sweet fragrance like the pink sugar, like the Aquilina Pink Sugar, I feel like if you layer it with this, it makes it more of a mature scent. I feel like the Aquilina Pink Sugar smells like cotton candy, and it reminds me of like the high school locker room, like the gym locker room when I was in high school. So this is something really good to mix with scents like that you kind of want a little bit more depth or maturity added to them. And then as far as fashion goes, I have a couple of items to show you. I've had these boots for a couple years now. They're kind of dirty because obviously I wear them all the time. These, and plus my feet are huge, like look how big this boot is. But I got these, and these are by the brand Civico 10. I'm not quite sure if I'm even pronouncing it correctly, but they're Italian leather boots. They've lasted me for years, and I think you should just really invest in a good riding boot that's not too trendy. I don't like a lot of the trendy things on it, like spikes or studs or whatever. I just like a good brown riding boot, and I've been wearing this every fall for the last several years, and these have just really lasted. So I really love this boot. And then I don't think you can go wrong with a good blanket scarf. And I got this one, I believe, on Amazon last year. Just a really large blanket scarf. And I've been made fun of by family members who don't know how cool a blanket scarf is. But this thing really does keep me warm, and it's just really nice to have. So I keep my clothing for the most part the same throughout the year. Like I'll throw on a cardigan, or I'll throw on a scarf, or add boots instead of sandals or flats, and I just find that I wear basics and then just kind of add little things here and there for fall. So I think that's everything that I had to share with you. I will try to leave as much as I can linked below. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.